I help people. So this is, a little introduction about me. So now we will see. So we'll go step by step. So we'll first understand what is the difference between Indian companies and multinational companies. Why? Because a lot of you might be, I think 90 to 80% of you are working in Indian companies as of now. It could be Indian companies, consultants, anyway. So Indian companies, when I say, you may be working at anywhere, say Sistra, anywhere. Like I worked in Bangalore Metro. I told you RV Associates is a Indian firm. There are so many consultancies. Skytree is there, Design Tree Consultants. So Nagesh Consultants. All these are in Bangalore because I have stayed 7 years in Bangalore. I know a lot of companies of Bangalore. So you may be working at any of the Indian companies or consultancies. So it is very important to understand what is the difference between Indian companies and MNCs. So we will see these differences in three major topics. First is type of projects. We will see what type of project Indian companies do and what type of projects multinational companies do. We will also see what is the work culture difference. Don't worry if you don't understand what work culture means. I'll explain you. So work culture is nothing but how the company works. So we will see how it is in Indian companies, how that mentality, how that boss to employee mentality is there in Indian companies, also in MNCs. And we also will see about multidisciplinary coordination or collaboration, how it is in Indian companies and how it is in MNCs. So when we come to, type of projects, so we will be looking into different aspects. We will be seeing like what are the phases involved in project, work responsibilities, who are the stakeholders, what are the roles available, and what projects. So if you see Indian companies, so what kind of projects they do is generally construction and design. So this is a brief overview. There could be some one or two other these things, but Indian companies generally, either they are in the construction execution business, or they are, giving their design consultancies, design services, or some even there are PMC services also. So broadly, if I say Indian companies, they take construction projects, or they give design services, or they act as a PMC. PMC means project management consultants. Whereas when you come to MNCs, there is a whole different phases which involve in a project. So in MNC, say there is some project coming. First, we will do the conceptual design. Then there is something called as preliminary design. Then there is called as detailed design. So in MNCs, generally you will see there are a lot of stages in a single project. So I worked in Bangalore Metro for 4.5 years. I was involved only in designing. So I didn't do anything other than design as a structural engineer. But in this thing MNCs, there will be conceptual design. We need to do the conceptual design. We need to send it to the client. Then the client will say, okay, then we need to do preliminary design. Again, we do the preliminary design. We give it to the client. If the client says, okay, there is no problem, only then we go for detailed design. So these are the different stages. In MNC, this is very common if you join any MNCs. So this you should be knowing. Next, work responsibility. If you are in an Indian company, generally you will be asked to only see or only focus on what work they have assigned to you. For example, I gave you an example. Say you are a structural engineer, you are designing RCC buildings. If you say like, okay, from 2 years I'm designing just RCC building, I want some other kind of work and all, generally that will not be entertained. Why? Because Indian companies, Indian consultancies are structured in that way. They expect you to only do whatever work they assign you. You cannot say I won't do that. You cannot say I'm interested in learning something else. So generally, the focus is you are asked to do whatever you're assigned. But in MNCs, you are given that freedom to see the project from a different vision or a different lens. In the sense, say in an MNC, if you are working, if you say, I need some time to understand the overall, like what we are doing, who are like what we are need to deliver, and I want to study all the possible options. If you say this in an MNCs, they are perfectly fine and they encourage this. In MNCs, you are not just, told to do the work. You are allowed to share your ideas. You are allowed to share your what you feel about the project, even if you are an intern. So please understand this. I work at Atkins Realis. In my team, there are 3 interns. The interns do the same work which I do. I mean, I have to explain them obviously, and I have to check their work, but still. So this liberty, you are allowed to see project as a whole from a bird's eye view. If you're having some alternative suggestions, if you want to say that, okay, I want to propose this system, or we do it like this? Can we do it quicker? Can I do it in faster? If you have any ideas in MNCs, that is, encouraged. So that is one, again, one of the good thing about the MNC. So I'll just, someone is there in the chat. Okay, I have entered. Next is stakeholders. Stakeholders means what? If you are in an Indian companies. So say I worked in Bangalore Metro in planning and design division, P&D. We had a team of 7 people. So stakeholders means within those 7 peoples, the work gets divided. If I want to ask something, if I want to get any help, if I want to interact with something, I interacted with those 7 team members, and I interacted with the contractor. Like we used to design and give the drawings to the site, contractor used to execute. So stakeholders means who are the people who will be involved in a project. So in Indian companies, generally it will be your team. If you are a BIM engineer also, you will be having a team. If you are a project planning, you will be having something. So you will be interacting with your team, and at the most you will be interacting with the contractor. But if you work in MNCs, stakeholders are who are all the people who gets involved are global clients. In the sense, sitting in Bangalore, I design bridges in London. That means my client is in London. I am designing bridges sitting in Bangalore office. So review teams means what? I design a bridge or I do any building design. Sometimes if the project is significant or a project is big, I am from Atkins. If I am designing some things, some other company will check my work. That is called as review. Suppose say I am at Atkins, there is a big project, say a very a long span bridge or a very township kind of project. So in such things, one company does the design, one more company checks like whether we have not missed anything, whether the design is correct, or there is some issue and all. Like this, review teams will be there, and there will be interdisciplinary teams. It means if I'm designing a bridge, so here there is no interdisciplinary much coordination. In the sense, uh, if some township project or a bridge, I'm a bridge engineer, some bridge comes or some building comes. So I need SBC to design the foundations, for example. To design the foundations, I will get in touch with the geotechnical team. So here in MNCs, we will having separate teams for all the departments. I will be having separate teams for geotech team, BIM engineers. I have a separate team, CAD engineers. We will have separate teams. So I have to coordinate with all of them and get the work done. So this coordination you generally don't find in Indian companies. For example, SBC and all, you generally will not have a separate geotechnical engineer. You may have in some cases, but generally only like your internal design team and contractor you will be interacting. Then roles available. If you are in an Indian company, generally what are the roles available? Like site engineers, design engineers, BIM engineers, etc. These are the roles. In MNCs, what you have to understand is there is no site engineer in MNC. Now you have to understand why. Because MNCs or multinational firms, 90 to 95%, they take only international projects. In the sense, they do only international projects. International means UK, Canada, Singapore, anything, Middle East, New Zealand, North America, anything. So they do only projects which are international projects. So obviously, Atkins is in Bangalore. So Atkins head office is in London, not London, in Canada. Say now, uh, why there is no site execution is uh, I cannot go to London where the bridge is being constructed as a site engineer. So my job is only whatever service I can provide from sitting in Bangalore office, I can provide that. So site engineers, if you there is no, like suppose if you want to join Atkins, if you want to join WSP, these are all multinational companies. Aecom. Arcadis, Mott MacDonald's, they're having their offices in Bangalore, Delhi, Chennai, all the metro cities. So there are no site engineer roles because 90 to 95% the projects they do are international projects. So if you want to work as a site engineer in Atkins, in India, you cannot work. In London or wherever the head offices are there, say Sistra's head office in somewhere in London or UK, anywhere else. So no site engineer roles in MNCs. Other than that, you have all the roles. Design roles are there, BIM roles are there, highway engineer, geotechnical engineer, CAD draftsman, all the roles are available. No site engineer roles in MNC. Then projects. Generally, what kind of projects Indian companies or consultancies do? Like buildings, bridges, or say some sheds, or say industrial buildings generally. But if you see MNCs, apart from buildings, bridges, which are common, they do a variety of projects such as stadiums, even nuclear power plants. They do a variety of things. So if you know, for example, uh, some years back, London Olympics was conducted. So that design was done by an MNC called as Walter P. Moore, like that. So you can get to work on large scale projects. So generally, if you see, no Indian companies will be designing a nuclear power plant because obviously it's a huge structure, millions and millions of cost. So generally, in Indian companies, buildings, bridges, they do. If you go for a multinational companies, along with this, they even do stadiums, they do nuclear power plants, they do township projects, and so many